I'm Brian Freeman with Freeman's Construction. Hey, today we're going to go through video number 4 of our custom home building cost guide series. We're going to be covering site costs. So what does it cost to take a raw piece of land and get it ready to build a custom home on it? So average cost in San Diego County area, they're falling anywhere from $50,000 to $125,000. Okay? They can be less, but they can absolutely be way more than that depending on what is required to get the site improved. So we're going to go through, break those costs down as to what those are now. So first thing would be your grading. So we're going to have to go in and actually build a pad for a building site for the home. We're also going to need to clear the brush in that area and get a driveway cut into that pad. So to do that, a good number to plug in, just for ballpark numbers, would be maybe a $10,000 to $20,000 number. Now, that's going to get you in the ballpark area. It could be way more than that. If you got a long driveway, we got blasting, rock. I mean, it could go crazy, but that'll help you out as far as getting close. Now, the other scenario would be if you wanted to buy a lot, or you had a lot that had a home on it prior, maybe that burned in the cedar or witch fires, and you have a pad that was existing for a home that was there, you may only have to go in there and over excavate and recompact that pad, and that would only cost maybe $5,000 to $7,000 depending on the size. So you could have a significant savings there. Plus the driveway, there's a good chance that the driveway is still in decent condition, and you can use that driveway. So that's the grading cost that you'll incur. So about $10,000 to $20,000 if you plug in for that. The other cost that happens during the time of the grading is we have a soils engineer that is required to take compaction tests. So in those compaction tests, those are given to the County of San Diego at the foundation inspection, which allows them to sign off on the foundation that there has been adequate compaction to the soil from the grader that did the work. So that's going to be about a $2,000 to $3,000 range as far as the soils compaction report, and that can be more depending on the size if it's a large custom home. So then the other expense that you'll have during that time and throughout the remainder of the project is somewhere between $1,000 to $3,000, and that's going to be your stormwater management. It's what we call our BMPs, or best management practices. And that's going to be for straw wattles that you would set up on a perimeter, or a silt fence, or it could be for sandbags that are going to go in. So to control water erosion and the dirt from getting off the property. So the dirt erosion from the water on the lot. So that's going to be about a $1,000 to $3,000 range. And then the other expense that you'll have is the driveway expense. So the most fire departments within the County of San Diego area are requiring now that you have an asphalt or concrete driveway from your property line to the home. So, and there's limitations on how much driveway you can actually put in based on the impervious surface now because of the California law. So that's something we have to work around. But the driveway itself for the fire department has to be 16 feet wide, and you also have to have a turnaround. So if we go, say we have a 100-foot driveway, 16 feet wide, you'd multiply the lineal footage of the driveway, length of the driveway, by the square footage, get that number, and then you're going to multiply that for asphalt by $3.25 to $3.50 a square foot. And that'll get you in the ballpark as to what you would spend to actually pave the driveway. If you're going to do concrete, you'll probably be in the range of $5.25 or $5.50 a square foot to concrete that driveway. So those are your driveway expenses. Now the other costs that you will have if you are not near city water, or you're not, so you don't have a water meter and you don't have a city water hydrant for fire purposes, you're going to have to drill a water well, and you're going to have to provide a water storage tank for fire suppression. So those costs are going to be anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000, and what that's going to give you is you're going to drill the well. It's going to give you a submersible pump in the well. Then you're going to get a 10,000 gallon water storage tank, plus a booster pump, plus pressure tanks, and that'll allow the home to be supplied with pressurized water and have a 4-inch hydrant that's going to be sufficient for the fire department. So you're going to spend, so that we already mentioned that, but $25,000 to $35,000. But if you are in an area that has very deep wells, like the water table is really low, you could potentially go way higher than that depending on how deep that well has to go. So one of the things we would highly recommend on the front end is getting a reputable well driller that's very familiar with that area out and talk to them and figure out what they would anticipate, how deep they're going to have to go with that well. That way you can budget properly for the well expenses that you're about to have. So, okay, so that's well. The other thing that you would need to do if you're not on city sewer connection is you're going to have to put a septic system in. Now the septic system is based, the size of that system is based off of two different components. The bedroom size and the percolation, or the amount of bedrooms and the perk rate for that property. So if what we're going to do is we're going to go to the county and we're going to look and say, hey, what's the perk rate on this lot? They may have it, they may not. If they don't, we'll look at the surrounding lots and see if they have those. And a lot of times they'll let you take the worst case scenario of the perk rate on the surrounding lots, so you don't have to run another perk rate for your property. And that can save you $3,500 or more if you can do it that way. But the actual install on a standard septic system would be somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, depending on the size of the home, the amount of bedrooms, and the actual perk rate. So now the other scenario is you could get into a property that has a high groundwater problem, where the standard septic system won't work, and you have to put in an alternative septic system. Those can run anywhere from $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So it could be a very extensive expense to you, and that's got to get looked at on the front end as well. So we're looking with the Department of Environmental Health of the county, and we're going to try to figure all that out right on the front end so we know what we're up against as far as the septic goes. Okay, so the remaining items are electrical from SDG&E. What's that going to cost to get to the site? That can vary a huge amount. Okay, we really don't know, and we got to look and see if we got a transformer on the existing poles. We got to come underground. We go in overhead. Do we have to set more poles in order to get power even to the property? So we got to look at that. The other thing we got to look and see if we need to get easements. We'll make sure we got the right easements in place to get the power to the site. So then propane you can dig underground. You only have to be 10 feet from the house. You can go farther if you'd like, as long as the lines are the right size. And then you're also going to need to look at the water from wherever your water storage tank is set. You got to trench all the way underground to get over to the house. And then also the 4-inch hydrant line has to be within no closer than 50 feet to the house and no farther than 150 feet away. So we're going to look at the cost, what the distances are, and how far we got to trench for electrical, how far we got to trench for our water, how far are we going to trench for our propane. And we're going to look at those, and we're going to put through a number together based on that at the underground utility line item. So plug in $10,000. You could, on some sites you could spend less than that, but most of the time you're spending that or more on your on those particular site costs. So your electrical, your propane, and your water line. So okay, so we covered grading, we covered the soils cost, soils engineering cost. We covered BMPs, then we covered the actual cost to do pavement or concrete on your driveway. Then we covered well costs and your storage tank, and then we covered septic, and then we have our electrical, our water line, and our propane. So we got all those. All right. Now, one thing that is required since January 1st, 2020, is for any new custom home that you build, you have to put in a new solar system. Now that's going to be an additional $15,000 to $20,000 that you'll need to budget for as an expense. That system can either be a ground mounted or it can be a roof mounted system. It just really depends on what your lot allows you to do and what the space is that you have to do it. So that is definitely an expense. In addition to the site costs that we've already talked about, you're going to want to make sure you put that in the budget. Okay, so that's site costs. And next week, we are going to be covering the build cost. So in the build cost video, we are going to go through what's the average price per square foot to build the living area of the home, what is the average price per square foot to build the garage area of the home, and what is the average cost per square foot for the covered porch areas. So when we understand those, we can take and we can figure out very close as to what that home is actually going to cost to build, in addition to our plans and permits, fees, land, and all the site costs. So we put all those together. By the end of the next video, you'll be able to take and figure out very close as to what your home, the entire package, will take to get that project completed. So, okay, well, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. We will look forward to seeing you in video number 5 to talk about build costs next week.